Your flowers might say thank you for a little rain that we're getting. We're also looking at the sky today, kind of like cotton candy skies. Not seeing a lot of clouds out there as we start, but it is a beautiful start to our sunrise. Glad that you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise. Oh, there we go. We got some trees out in the background. Oh, we were just really showing out this morning. Got a pan there to the War Memorial in downtown Indy as well. It is shaping up to be a start of a nice day here, depending on where you are.
Yeah, thanks for waking up with us here at 6 o'clock on Sunrise. I'm Julia, along with Julia and Matt here this morning, and hopefully you enjoyed yesterday. We had a little bit kind of calmer weather around here, but now that humidity is kind of
it's going
inking up a little bit.
Yeah, it is. You're going to feel it.
Yeah.
it's going to go into the rainforest category. I think,
wow.
by the weekend.
Well, you didn't say anything about that.
No. Not today, though.
Oh, okay.
We get a day to kind of
He's been burying that.
Burying the lead. Yes, that's right.
Rainforest, yeah.
It's about to get humid.
Okay.
And rain chances are going to follow because of the extra humidity as well. But it's a dry start out there this morning. The one shower we had in Jackson County, good morning, just south of Seymour towards Crothersville, has pretty much faded away and is starting to head towards Louisville. This morning, though, we are dry. We have mostly clear skies out there. If you woke up early, you still saw the setting full moon. It is now completely set out there, so you're not going to be able to see it anymore until tonight. It'll also appear full tonight. It's the full buck moon. But it's a great start out there this morning. It's comfortable. It is a touch cooler for some of us this morning as a weak front is pushing on through. We got a lot of 60s out there, still holding on to a 70 in Indy. We're just a touch cooler to the north and west especially this morning. One of the only couple places that we have a little bit warmer this morning will be Richmond and Bedford. We're still watching that front slowly push across the state. It's not a very strong front, but what it's doing is it's dropping the temperatures a touch. That's allowing for some patchy fog to develop. We've got some in Wayne County and Henry County. Good morning in Greensburg, some patchy fog, about a mile visibility in Bedford and in Greencastle. And it gets even thicker once you get closer to the state line with Illinois. But here's that front. So yeah, we're a little bit cooler today for this morning, I should say. This afternoon, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be hot. But as the front just kind of sits over Indiana, we'll be watching maybe a couple pop-up showers and maybe a rogue downpour out there later today. Most of us will stay dry, but you see all the weather to the west? That's that rainforest humidity and more scattered storms. We're going to let you know when those will arrive here in just a little bit. But let's talk traffic. We've got a couple alerts that you need to know about. 2 new crashes around Indianapolis. Let's go ahead and look at the maps. We've got one on 465 East as you're approaching Benford Boulevard and I-69. And then another crash. This is the one causing the big backup. I-65 in the northbound lanes. Also, so you know, this weekend, all of I-65 North will be closed and the following 2 weekends. They're working on repairing and enhancing the drainage capability of the interstate. So when we get flooding events, hopefully the water doesn't stay on the road as much. But we're looking there just past East Raymond Street. This is the camera from East Raymond Street. And if you look closely, I believe it was right in here, you got a vehicle off to the side, but it's just enough to cause a backup in the northbound lane. So taillights are headed north, headlights are headed south, and then we've got a crash on I-465. Looks like the tow truck just arrived, but this one's off to the side enough that folks can still get around. Julia?
All right, thank you, Matt. Well, new this morning, we're working to find out what led to a deadly accident on I-465. Right now, we know just one person is dead.
Yeah, NDOT confirms the crash around 12:45, and they're saying that it shut down 2 lanes on the interstate. This happened near Sam Jones Expressway. No major impact to traffic right now as those lanes are back open, but we're still working to learn more about that crash.
Also overnight, crews responded to a car fire also on 465. You can check out this video here, our desk caught right as that was happening. This is video of the scene, which is around 2:30 this morning near Harding Street.
It would probably been wild to see that car on the shoulder of the interstate. It didn't cause any major delays there, but I assume people were pulled over to see what happened. We'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more information about both of those crashes. This morning, we're hearing from attorneys of an Indianapolis family who filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city and a now retired IMPD officer.
Gary Harrell was shot and killed by an IMPD officer 2 years ago during a traffic stop. Our Anna Chucker is in studio with us this morning. Anna, what are the attorneys saying happened?
Well, they say Officer Douglas Carell used excessive and unnecessary force, and his actions violated Harrell's constitutional rights. This happened in August of 2023 when IMPD says says Correll tried to stop Harrell for reckless driving when he got out of his car and ran away. Police say Harrell had a gun in his hand, and the body camera video you're watching shows Correll fired 2 shots at Harrell, whose back was turned away at the time. Harrell later died at the hospital, and almost 2 years later, Officer Correll has not been charged or cleared by the prosecutor's office. The attorneys say this case says Harrell's family is frustrated about it because there is no decision and they just want justice.
And have really gotten a lot of non-answers. It's been a lot of, we're waiting to see if we're going to charge him or if we're going to bring him in front of a grand jury, and almost 2 years later, it still hasn't happened. And a decision hasn't been made, which I think is even worse because that makes it even harder on the family.
IMPD says they do not comment on pending litigation, but they did confirm that Officer Correll retired in February of 2024. And the prosecutor tells us this case is still under review, but this is not the first time Correll has really seen some legal action while he was an officer. We'll bring up a case about that from 2018 coming up at 6:30.
And you wonder if that has any impact on why this one seems like it's in limbo.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Anna. This morning, Jaylen Brown is still in the hospital in a coma nearly 2 weeks after he was hit while riding his bike. In just a few hours, the man accused of hitting him is expected to be in court.
IMPD tell us they just arrested Stephen Frazier for hitting Brown and leaving the scene of the accident. This happened while Brown was riding his bike early on the city's east side on East Washington near Sherman Drive last week. Right now, Brown faces charges of leaving the scene along with other serious offenses.
Court documents reveal that Frazier left the scene and stopped a short time later and tried to fix a headlight that was hanging down. That's according to court documents. Brown's family had some tough words for Frazier.
The minute you decide to drive away, that is not an accident. And then you've destroyed 2 families. We've been told over and over and over it's going to take time. So it's just waiting.
So we will be in that courtroom this morning and share any new information that becomes available in the case.
Turning now to a 30-year-old murder case in Hamilton County that is headed to trial. But the man charged says that he only helped get rid of the body. Thomas Anderson Jr. is facing a count of murder in the 1992 death of 24-year-old Tony Bledsoe. According to court documents, Anderson told police that Bledsoe was shot and stabbed at a Noblesville duplex, but by a man named Andy Emmert. He said the violence stemmed from a dispute over stolen car parts. Anderson says that he helped Emmert dispose of Bledsoe's body, and his trial is now set to start January 12. Now, Emmert does not face any charges and has not been named a suspect in this case. We talked to the chief deputy prosecutor, but they wouldn't say if Emmert is still under investigation for the murder. So we'll continue to follow this story and pass along any new developments.
An IMPD community event that happened yesterday is helping take a deeper dive after a deeper meaning, that is, after a violent weekend in Indianapolis that included that deadly mass shooting in downtown Indy.
When 2 teens were killed and 5 young people were hurt Saturday. And police say too often they're only interacting with the community during those types of negative situations.
And that's why yesterday was so important, and so was this gathering. They say that it gives people in the community a chance to interact with officers in a more positive light. And that also didn't mean this weekend's violence wasn't a big discussion point. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says that it will take everyone to create change.
We've had a bad couple weeks, and I hate it. And any life loss, any person shot is a terrible thing. But we've made a lot of progress, and we want to keep that momentum going. But it's going to take all of us working together.
We also talked to a mother who was at that event who brought her 10-year-old son along.
And she says being at events like this help reinforce the message that she wants to pass along, which is to stay away from violence.
Well, we are getting some new insight this morning into work near the Henry Street Bridge construction site here in Indianapolis. The excavated land is in the area of Green Lawn Cemetery, the city's first ever cemetery. So far, crews have identified, we know, more than 1,100 grave shafts in that area since this project first began. Those sites are excavated and the contents are transferred to the IU Indianapolis Bioarchaeological Lab. You see some of these items that have been collected along the way. They've uncovered the footwear, jewelry, and many other personal items and coins like you see here. As for the Henry Street Bridge, work is expected to be completed in 2026. Wow, so unique to find all those items and to still have that as a part of Indy history.
I'm glad that they're able to preserve them too. That's wonderful.
Well, this is really neat happening today. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she will be right here in Indianapolis.
It's the first time a judge on the High Court has joined a gathering of the Indianapolis Bar. Justice Jackson will be joining Judge Jane Magnus Stinson from the U.S. District Court of Southern Indiana in a conversation.
This is set to begin around noon today. We will have our crews there, of course, and bring you coverage of that later today here on 13 News.